Logan. Shut up. All right. You have about a minute to finish writing your Mustang minute. If you're done, then please don't disrupt other people. Turn around. Thank you. Hey, you should not be talking right now. Either you are writing the Mustang Minute or you are sitting quietly. Take about 30 seconds to finish. And then I need your attention up here. Grace is really good attention. She's like military style. It's impressive. I can't listen. Okay. Finish up the sentence you're working on, and then all eyes should be on me. It should be quiet in here. Okay. Are all of you raising your hands because you would like to share? Is that what this is?
I want to share.
Oh.
I have.
Okay, Ben, you have a question?
Well, sort of. I'd like to report a huge issue because Paul talked about the brain teaser and I heard it. And so now I can't figure it out.
I talked about it.
Okay.
He said it. He said it.
He said it.
We'll talk about it, the brain teaser is not really something that's part of class time, so we'll talk about it during the break, okay? This conversation is over for now. Thank you, Ben, for bringing that to my attention, but we'll figure it out at the break, okay? Okay, thank you very much. We'll talk about the issues at the break. The rule still stands, like I stated, before or after school. I'll tell you, and you get more than one guess, but if you have additional questions, we'll get to it after the break. Rowdy. Would you like to share?
Yeah.
Okay, are there any other questions before we move on to sharing? Great. So are you wanting to share, Logan?
Well, I had a question, but I answered it.
All right. So we'll start sharing now, beginning with Rowdy, and then going on to Grace, and then Natalie. And that's where we'll stop for right now. That doesn't mean more people won't share. That's just where we're going to go right now.
But the ads I remember most are the ones about food. Just like the Doritos commercial during the Super Bowl, a guy goes and finds a vending machine. He then sees the Doritos and smashes the glass. After that, he grabs the bag of Doritos and walks out the door. I remember this most because I like food a lot.
Okay. So you remember the commercial because it's something that applies directly to you and what you care about. Okay, great. Grace.
One of the commercials, obviously, because I don't really watch TV so that much, but I saw this one and it was for State Farm, I think. So a guy crashed another guy's car and he said, "I'm so sorry." Then the other guy said, "It's okay. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there." Then a State Farm lady comes and says, "You're covered, Kevin." Then the guy who crashed in his car said, "I don't have State Farm, but insurance." And his mom looks up and the guy who crashed the car had a little kid. And the grandma had one of those old cell phones plugged into the wall. And the little boy said, "Look, it's Grandma." And then the dad's like, "I know, it's Grandma." And then the grandma says, "6 callers ahead of us, Jimmy." So I thought it was memorable because it was funny, and I thought it was made good, and it didn't seem too rehearsed. So that is how I remembered it.
All right, thank you. So you thought it was memorable because it was well done, it didn't seem too rehearsed, and it was humorous. Okay, great. Natalie,
Okay, so this is a commercial I saw in movie theaters one time and it was just memorable. So there's a teenage kid, like a teenage boy, who was walking to his house after coming home from school, and he grabbed like a bag of chips, and then he went and sat down on his couch, and his conscience came out and was like, "I'm so hungry, 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 give me some food, I'm hungry, 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 hungry." That was what he said like the whole time. And the conscience was a middle-aged fat guy with a beard and a bald head. And the commercial showed them in multiple situations, like eating junk food. And then the commercial was to eat healthy because the kid ended up getting really fat at the end. And then I thought this was memorable because my 15-year-old brother is just like the conscience and is eating all the time.
So it applied to something that you have experience with, and so that made it memorable. Okay, Tennyson, go ahead. And then, excuse me, after Tennyson, I'd like to hear from Ellen and then Sierra.
Alright. The most memorable commercial is the one that our math teacher showed us. And it was about this guy who, the narrator's blah, 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 gets the best salmon in the world because brown bears are able to catch the best salmon in the world. So after this brown bear gets the salmon out of the water or whatever, this one wild guy runs up to the bear and starts beating it up and fighting with it and steals the fish and runs off. It was funny because it was memorable because it was in math and math is funny.
So it was a little unexpected.
Yes.
The timing was unexpected. Okay, Ellen and then Sierra.
So there's a commercial and it's about learning and enjoy fighting sauce and it reminded me because my parents were driving and they saw that color puppies, the dogs, and they were outside and it was cold during Christmas, so we got them and it gives me one for Christmas and we give them as well.
That's cool. So that reminds you of personal experience. Great. Sierra.
Okay, a memorable ad that I've seen was on February TV for the TV shows. It was memorable because I was in it. I was for the part of Studio C. I held up a sign and flipped it as if it were like a screen, and they put an animation on it, and I was in 5th grade, and it took us back lessons. And then after that, I was really tired because we had school. And it only ended up being for 45 seconds.
So it's memorable because there was a lot of work that went into it. That's really cool. You're famous now. That's awesome. All right. Anybody else who wants to share before we move on? All right. What we're going to be talking about today is a continuation from our discussion yesterday. Caitlin, could you give us a brief 10-second refresher course on what we talked about yesterday? Okay, so we talked about Oreo. And what does that stand for, Danielle?
It stands for opinion, reason, evidence, opposition, rebuttal, evidence, and opinion.
Awesome. All right, so we covered Oreo. What else, Rosario? What else did we talk about yesterday?
I think we talked about the Chrome commercial.
Okay, so we used the Google Chromecast commercials to examine what? Rowdy, do you remember?
No.
That's okay. Tennyson?
It's... Oh, what was the question?
What did we use the Chromecast commercials to look at?
how to put stuff into something that's like, gets everybody's attention. But I was thinking about, aren't we gonna watch more ads today?
Yes. Yeah, we will. Logan?
We just talked about in your writing how when you're writing about certain things, you can like write about it to like certain audiences, like older
Great.
people, younger people.
Great. Grace?
We learned like, let's see this right our art writing, how to connect words together.
Good. That was a big part of what we did yesterday was transitions. Ethan?
And pretty much like what everybody said, it's just something to either make it appeal to a specific person or appeal to everybody. Because like in the Google Chromecast, there was like older people and they were watching like a show that, I don't know what it was, but and then they had the younger people who were like playing games and then putting it up there, and then there was just like little kids who were watching Despicable Me and like stuff like that.
Right. So we talked about adjusting your voice depending on who you're writing to. And all of that, or both of those things, were designed to help us do what? To improve and strengthen our writing. And so today we're going to be talking about one other thing that will help us do that. Yes, Grace?
Are you videoing yourself
Hmm?
again?
Yourself or us?
No, remember?
Yeah. It's okay. Just ignore it. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay. So today we're going to be talking about argumentative appeals, which is a fancy way for saying how you strengthen your argument, how you get people's attention. And so when I think of argument, I think of it usually in terms of a triangle. All right? And so we have our triangle of argument. And today we're going to be learning 3 terms. And don't worry if you don't know what those are. That's why we're going to be learning them. And those 3 are ethos, logos, and pathos.
Oh yeah, you were talking.
Jacob, will you read the I can statement for today?
Identify and define ethos, logos, and pathos.
Okay, so that's our goal of today. Being able to identify and define each of those terms. And so when you're writing an argument, Ethan and Logan, I need you focused. Okay? I'm talking, which means you should not be. When we're talking about this argument triangle, all arguments fall somewhere in this area. You might have some arguments that are really, really high on ethos. That's what they're using mostly. And I know you don't know what these words mean yet, but by the end of class, this will make more sense, and we'll come back to this. There might be other arguments that are pretty centered. They use each, and they use all of them. Or you might have some that rely more on logos and pathos and less on ethos. Is it something that you'd like to share with the class?
Sorry, it was just an inside joke.
Okay, let's stay focused, please. So all arguments fall somewhere in this triangle, and where they fall in the triangle doesn't necessarily determine how effective or ineffective they are. It just means that they're using different argumentative appeals to present their argument. Okay? So I would like to ask Wade if he would take the honor of being the clicker for today. And I would like to ask Jonathan and Tennyson to fulfill another honor and pass this out. Okay? Wait, let me get it to the beginning of the PowerPoint. And then it will be all you. Yes, you do need a pencil. Okay. I'd like you now to clear absolutely everything off your desk except for a pencil and this piece of paper.
Yeah, I just find
Thank you very much. All right, Tyson, will you push the light that's closer to the wall? To the, sorry, other one. Okay, great. Thank you very much. we'll get this on and then we'll be good to go, right?
What's the date?
Today is the 13th. So lucky for you, it's Thursday the 13th, not Friday the 13th.
That's close.
Good luck.
That was close. Next one.
Will Halloween ever fall on Friday the 13th?
No, because Halloween's always the 31st. No, it's okay. It's a valid question.
No, like maybe like the 31st, like change it to 13th.
Yeah.
Okay, right now, let's not worry about that. We're gonna worry about
Friday.
our ethos, logos, and pathos. Ethan, if you would start us off by reading this comic. We'll start off with some good old Calvin and Hobbes.
Help me think of an issue to debate for this dumb paper. Well, that issue, what issues do you care about? I don't care about issues. I've got better things to do than argue with every wrong-headed crackpot with an ignorant opinion. I am a busy man. I say either agree with me or take a hike. I'm right, period. End of discussion. Right. There, see, everybody's happy.
Kind of funny, right? We talked about this yesterday when we were talking about opposition, and you need to be, that this is why you address the opposition, right? So that you can be well-rounded and not like Calvin. Go ahead and click, Wade. Okay. First off, if we're going to be talking about argumentative appeals, we should probably know what they are. Tate, if you would read that second line, starting with an appeal.
An appeal is a method used to plead your case.
Okay, an appeal is a method used to plead your case. So this is how you're making your case and making your point. What are some synonyms for the word plead? Going back to our context clues and word meaning and all of those things. Ben, what are synonyms?
Beg.
Okay, good. Beg. Grace?
I have a question. Are we supposed to be writing this?
Not yet.
Like this?
Not yet. Okay, so Ben gave us a good synonym, beg. Jonathan, what's another one? Or plead. All right, it looks like there are a couple people with their hands raised if you'd like to phone a friend on this one.
Hope.
So, hope, you're trying to, maybe not hope, maybe like promote, trying to promote your case. And Jacob, one last one. Ask. So you're trying to like ask and get people on board. Go ahead, Wade. So there are 3 types of appeals. Logos, ethos, and pathos. And those are the 3 that we're going to be talking about today. Wade, if you'll click. Although one thing to note, like we were talking about with the triangle, is that these are not mutually exclusive. It's okay for them to overlap, and they often do. Effective arguments rely on several different kinds of appeals, and that just makes them more successful. Go ahead. First off, we're going to start with ethos. So this is where you'll need to start taking notes on your paper. Ethos is what? Danielle, if you'll read what it says on the left-hand side of the screen.
Convincing by the speaker's credibility or authority.
All right. Convincing by the speaker's credibility or authority. Convincing by the speaker's credibility or authority. Make sure you're writing that down and coming around just to check, just to make sure. And Porter, can you see the right side? Can you read that for us?
The E and ethos stands for expert.
All right, the E in ethos stands for expert. Ethos, here's another tidbit that you can just kind of write to the side. Ethos also deals with people's moral sense or their sense of right and wrong. So it's also morals. So go ahead and just jot that down to the side in parentheses, right after you've written authority. I'm about to sneeze, and so Eliza, will you repeat what you're supposed to write to the side?
It also deals with people's sense and stuff.
Yeah. Yes, it deals with people's sense of right and wrong, or morality. Right side. So write what Eliza said to the side right here. And then the E stands for expert. That's just an easy way to remember it. So I'm looking, and some of you have written it out to the side, some of you have written it above. Make sure you get that written down though. The ethos also appeals to people's sense of right and wrong, or morality, whichever way you want to write about it. Great. Let's look at some examples. Wait. Okay. So first off, Lexi, who is the woman on this ad? Do you know?
No.
It's Taylor Swift, right?
I knew that.
That's okay. It's okay. In the moment you're like, I don't know.
Yes, I knew that.
All right. So this is Taylor Swift, right? And Danielle, what kind of company is CoverGirl? It's a makeup company. And so, who is more authoritative to teach you all about makeup and cosmetics than Taylor Swift, right? So this is an ethos appeal because Taylor Swift is very credible in this department. And Tennyson thinks she's cute.
Oh no, he said hot.
Okay. Sorry, point of clarification. All right, so it's a little hard to see, but Ben, can you read what it says in light pink? Why do I love clean?
Why do I love clean? Because it's sensitive to my skin.
Let's focus, okay? If you can't handle this, then we'll just be done. Okay, why do I love clean? And clean is what? It's the brand, right? You can see on the bottle, in the bottom right. Clean is the exact makeup type. So why do I love it? Because it's sensitive to my skin. And I look at her skin. It's flawless. Right? Because she used this makeup. And so she is using her authority on the subject to say, hey, you want skin that looks like this? Use this kind of makeup.
It's Photoshop.
Okay, go ahead, Wade. Who owns a pair of Tom's shoes in here? Any of you? Quite a few of you. Okay.
I wish I did.
I know, I have some. I like them. They're way comfy. Logan, what is Tom's big kind of slogan? How do they usually advertise? Do you know?
No.
Natalie?
It sounds like if you buy a pair of Toms, then a pair of shoes will go to a kid who doesn't have them.
Right. So their big thing is give one, get one. Or get one, give one, right? Something like that. And so their big push is that if you buy a pair of shoes, then we'll give one to a child. Yeah, we'll give a pair of shoes to a child that needs them. So how is that an ethos appeal? What do you think? What do you think, Esther? How is that an ethos appeal? Right, so they can give one to somebody else. Because we know that ethos is what? What does ethos appeal to? What, Ethan?
A sense of right and wrong.
Sense of right or wrong. And is it the right thing to do to help people who are in need?
Yes.
You bet it is. And so what they're saying This ad, this holiday season, help us give 30,000 pairs of shoes to children in Ethiopia. What are they really saying?
Fire shoes.
Buy 30,000 pairs of shoes. But is that a very, that's not a very customer savvy approach, right? They want to kind of say it like, oh, well, we are helping you be kind and charitable because you buy this and yes, it helps our company, but mostly you are helping children. And that is what we all should be doing
I'm
this
gonna
holiday
go
season.
buy a pair of
Sydney?
club shoes.
Okay, Sydney is the only one that has permission to be speaking right now.
It's like an Ecos ad and it says Ethiopia. It sounds like Ecos.
Okay, yeah, so there's a little bit, the words kind of go together. Porter?
This is way off topic, but the guy who invented Tom's he went to the high school that I was going to go to.
That's cool. So maybe the next brand of shoes could have been Porter's. Never know. There's a very successful store where I grew up that's called Porter's, so you never know. All right, Wade, go ahead. And here's our last one. Paul, will you read what this ad says?
Buy pedigree and he'll make advantage of dogs.
Oh.
That dog
So
is
if you,
happy. Yeah.
right? Do you know why? Because that dog is happy that it's eating pedigree, but that dog is also happy that you are choosing to buy pedigree dog food and help its dog's cousins and friends. Right? So once again, it's appealing to your sense of right or wrong. Is it the right thing to do? Just go buy any old dog food? Or is it the right thing to do to buy a dog food that will make a difference?
I buy pedigree for my little dog.
If they told me that pedigree would help other dogs, I'd buy it. Me too.
So I guess this only works on dog lovers, right? If you have something to say, raise your hand. Okay, go ahead, Wade. We're going to go through a few examples of each, and then we're going to, excuse me, look at examples. So Carlos, if you would read the left-hand side and Chris the right-hand side. Statistics.
Yeah, used to help support
Okay, so you're convincing with logic and reasoning, using facts and statistics to help support your argument. And Chris?
logo stands for logic.
Great. Make sure you get that written down on the next part of your notes. Logos is very, very logical. It makes a lot of sense. You can reason through it. It uses numbers, all those types of things. Ben?
So what if I have used a lot of logos on my dad, but it still won't convince him? Like, I don't have any credibility or authority, so I can't use Athos.
Well, maybe what we're going to be talking about next, pathos, will help you out. Wade, go ahead. Take it away. This isn't exactly an advertisement. It's what's called an infographic. So they provide a lot of information in kind of picture or graphical form. So this is called What Happens in an Internet Minute. And it has some very interesting statistics on here. In 1 minute, 1.3 million videos are viewed on YouTube. In 1 minute, 277,000 people log into Facebook. That's incredible.
Wait, how many YouTube videos?
1.3 million videos are viewed, and every minute, 30 hours of additional videos uploaded.
And every minute,
Every minute.
search stuff.
Stuff.
Over 2 million Google searches. It's pretty incredible.
What about Twitter?
It's pretty incredible.
What would we do without the internet?
It's amazing. And so, how is this a logos appeal? Raise your hand. How is this a logos appeal? Yes, Brian?
He's telling me the numbers.
It's giving you a lot of numbers. There's not a whole lot of emotion here, right? It's just kind of giving you the facts, right? Just straight. Giving them straight to you. Ben?
It uses a lot of statistics, like everything, pretty much everything like this.
Right. Tennyson?
What's IP?
What's IP? Where are you seeing that?
Bottom.
The arrow sign.
Oh. It's like, it has to do with networks. Has to do with networks. Okay, so this is obviously logos because of the numbers, the stats, that sort of thing. This next one is a little bit trickier, but I have full faith in your ability to do this. Go ahead. All right, here's a Pantene commercial. It's kind of similar to the Taylor Swift one we just looked at. But what about this? How are they trying to use logos here? It's a little harder, but you can do it. What do you think, Logan?
Well, it says like 85% more shine guaranteed.
Right, it says 85% more shine guaranteed. It also says electric shine in 10 days.
Oh, that's nice.
I have a question for you though. How do you measure shine increase? How do you quantify that? How do you say, oh,
Her hair.
like, okay, so right now, I would say like Caitlin's hair is really nice and shiny. So let's say she starts using Pantene Pro V, and tomorrow, how would we be able to tell? We could say, oh, yep, definitely, there's definitely 23% more shine. How do you know? You can't, right? So this is a faulty logic appeal because there's no way you can know. We're gonna end there. Go ahead and take your 5-minute break and we'll pick this up when you get back. Thank you. You for us.
You guys are wearing the same thing. You guys are